Good evening. The public hearing for the following proposed zoning text amendments as recommended by the Zoning Commission is now open. I will read the amendments. Amendment number 1, revise section 6, general requirements as follows. Revise section 6.01B, agricultural uses. Add new section 6.02K, prohibited uses. Amendment number 2, revise section 11.01, zoning permit required. Amendment number 3, revise section 13, conditional use permit. Amendment number 4, revise section 15.02, table 15.021, table of uses. Amendment number 5, add new section 18, small solar energy systems. Amendment number 6, add new section 19, electric vehicle charging stations. Amendment number 7, revise section 22.03, table of uses for commercial and industrial districts, and revise 22.10A, capital district standards. Amendment number 8, delete section 32, gas and oil regulations, and amendment number 9, delete section 33, satellite receiving antennas, dish type. Ms. Freeman, was the legal notice published in a timely manner?
Yes, it was published on July 18th.
Thank you. Can you please provide a summary of the amendments, please?
Sure, yes, I'd be happy to. Yeah. So the Zoning Commission held several work sessions in order to propose changes to the zoning resolution for your consideration. At their July 1st, 2025 public hearing, the Commission voted to recommend approval of the following text amendments. The proposed changes have been posted on the Township website for the public to review as well. Amendment number 1 revises section 601B, the agricultural uses, to allow lots with agricultural uses to have one additional accessory building for that agricultural use. Additionally, the new section 602K, prohibited uses, will reference the existing trustee limited home rule resolution 2024-03, which prohibits adult use cannabis operators, including cultivators, processors, or adult use dispensaries. Amendment number 2 will revise section 11.01, which is the zoning permit requirements, to require any small solar energy systems to obtain a zoning permit first. Amendment number 3 revises section 13, the conditional use permit, for those specific uses that the Zoning Commission is recommending that be removed and or added to the existing zoning districts. These updates are necessary due to the changes that they are recommending in the other amendments, number 4 and number 7. Amendment number 4 proposes to revise section 1502, table 15-02-1, the table of uses. This is for the residential districts. The Zoning Commission is recommending removal of some conditional uses from the R1 and R4 districts, and they are also adding small solar facilities as a permitted accessory use within the residential districts. Amendment number 5 is the new section 18, which will contain the new regulations for the small solar energy systems. This section includes definitions, general provisions, and specific regulations for rooftop mounted solar and also ground mounted solar. Generally speaking, rooftop mounted will be permitted in all zoning districts, and ground mounted solar is permitted for all commercial districts and residential lots that are greater than 2 acres. Both of these would require a zoning permit. Amendment number 6, this is a new proposed section 19 for the electric vehicle charging stations. This section is almost identical to the existing trustee resolution 2023-20, which was adopted on September 6, 2023 by the trustees. There are some small changes that will be made in the zoning resolution update that will make it clear that the regulations pertain to not only public EV charging stations, but also private EV charging stations on commercial properties and for non-residential uses. If this is adopted by the trustees, staff would recommend that the trustees rescind the existing resolution at a later date and allow for the zoning update to take precedent. Amendment number 7 is to revise section 22.03, the table of uses for the commercial and industrial districts. These updates include adding automotive services as a conditional use in the BX district and removing that same use from the Gateway Business District. Adding general building contractors to the RD2 district and removing adult group homes from the B1 district. This amendment also revises section 22.10A, the capital district standards, to update the existing cross-reference to section 13.37 rather than 13.36 for the specific conditional use permit requirements. In the last two amendments, number 8 and 9, these are deleting sections 32 and 33. The gas and oil regulations that are in 32, the townships do not have the authority to regulate their location, which this section proposes to do, so that cannot be enforced. And then also section 33, the satellite receiving antennas dish type, the zoning commission has decided that is outdated technology and we no longer need to regulate that use.
All right, thank you very much for that summary. Is there anyone from the public that would like to come up and speak regarding the proposed amendments? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Good evening. Welcome to the Concord Township Board of Trustees meeting for August 6, 2025. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Mr. Patriarca, will you please call roll?
Mr. Dondorfer.
Present.
Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Mrs. Lucci.
Present. Moving on to the approval of minutes.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the July 16th, 2025 trustee office hour minutes.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, move to approve the July 16, 2025 public hearing and regular trustee meeting minutes.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to our elected officials reports. We'll start with our fiscal officer, Mr. Patriarca.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. Thank you, Mr. Rose, for the highlighting lights there. Put me on the spotlight.
They're a little
Yes,
blinky,
I was like, woo, what's going on?
As of July 31st, 2025, we're 58% of the way through the calendar year. Treasury balance for the 21 active funds within the Township Treasury is at $8.7 million. The balance includes approximately $216,000 in funds set aside for specific projects. Year-to-date expenditures for the township are just over $8.4 million, while year-to-date revenue is just over $11 million. These figures continue to keep Concord Township on track to stay within the 2025 budget. I do have two additional points this evening before I conclude my report. The first, I do want to make note that due to a clerical error at the county level, there are some residents of Concord Township, as well as neighboring townships, whose lighting assessments were not included in the 2025 property tax bills. Those assessments will be aggregated and included in the 2026 tax bill to account for this clerical error. Now, I'm sure we'll have some questions when that time comes, but rest assured, no residents will be double taxed for those services. My final point this evening is a follow-up on the conversation the trustees had at our last meeting, which fortunately I was not able to attend, in regards to the concept of potentially eliminating property tax across the state of Ohio, and really the effects that it has on all townships in the state of Ohio, but particularly Concord Township. So the idea of putting this issue on the ballot that would effectively eliminate tens of billions of dollars to local communities that are using those funds to service schools, safety services, roads, not even to get into the animal of defaulting on certain bonds within municipalities, but doing all that without a real confirmed plan to replace that revenue, in my opinion, it's extremely dangerous and borderline reckless to not have at least a plan in place to replace that revenue. When you're talking about something as material as tens of billions of dollars, and kind of how that affects, we look at how that would affect the Concord Township budget, it would be devastating, and kind of extrapolate that over the 1,000 or so townships across the state. And so, I know our Board of Trustees is in constant communication with our state reps. One of our former trustees is actually working directly with Governor DeWine and one of his committees to find reasonable property tax reform. So I'm just urging all of our residents to try not to focus on the new shiny object, the low-hanging fruit of just eliminating property tax from their monthly budget in their household, and try and just educate themselves slightly on what's going on, whether it's calling into our office, attending Mr. Rose's class on the effects of eliminating property tax, which I'm sure he'll talk about. But it's an important issue, and it's one that I think is worthy of a conversation to make sure that our residents fully understand what those property tax revenues are used for and how important it is to ensure that our residents have schools, safety services, roads, safety services, the whole gambit of everything that local government provides. And so I did want to at least include that in my report tonight, and certainly happy to have a further dialogue with any residents that are interested in the property tax issue. With that, concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patriarca. It's we find it very important that you relay this information in your report, so we appreciate your words.
Absolutely.
Moving on to our trustees, Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've had somewhat busy, and I've continued the conversation, so I'll pick it up where Mr. Patriarca left off with regard to the property tax repeal initiative. Lake County Township Association created a working group, and we have a statement. You've received it. We sent it out. It ended up going around a little bit broader than I thought, but county electeds and everybody got it. I have met with Senator Serino working on some more dialogue along those lines. And just because Mr. Patriarch mentioned it, and Administrator Rose and I talked about this like from day one, was the subject of, we have a bond for our fire station, and there's no way that if this passes, even if we were to receive supplemental funding from another source, we default on that bond. And I've actually spoken with Auditor Galloway about this, who is on the governor's working group, and we've talked about it as the ripple to that bond market. I mean, that's the whole state of Ohio. Every levy-backed bond in the state would be default, and even if the money still flowed through some other mechanism, it's still being default. So that would cause a ripple in the national bond market, which would more than likely affect the worldwide bond market as well. So there are broad implications for something like that. And I, Mr. Patriarch, I commend you for the bright new shiny object comment. I like that. I think that is it, and I certainly appreciate why people are attracted to the idea of this initiative, and it certainly does sound good. But as we've said before, I mean, state property taxes generate $22 billion of tax revenue. When you look at the effect on local government and schools, even if you could squeeze some efficiencies out of that 10, 20%, I mean, 20% would be an amazing savings. 10 would be quite substantial. You're still looking at having to generate $20 billion of taxes. So the taxpayers in the state of Ohio are going to pay for this one way or the other. It's just, we have to generate that money to keep these essential services going. So anyway, we're all dialed in on this and working hard on it. Since our last meeting, I participated in the Lake County Geographic Steering Committee meeting on their comp plan side. Had the opportunity to participate in the kickoff Concord Township comp plan meeting, which was really interesting. The consultants that we picked are at every turn so far amazing me on their approach. They've got some really great ideas about reaching into the community and not just sort of waving the banner and say, hey, we're doing this, if you're interested, come forward. And since it was done last, obviously social media is a bigger deal than it was 15 or 20 years ago. But even more so, to talking about hosting events and open houses where communities can come and talk with us about that or their ideas, and have engagement activities to talk about marketing and ideas to really attract it and put it out to the community and really educate them on what's involved. So I'm so excited to work on that, because I really think it's going to be a well-engaged, and they're just very dynamic in how they're working. So really excited about that. I was approached by somebody that I know outside of the township, but the Western Reserve and Geauga County Parks are looking at doing conservancy on some property off of Girdle Road. That's a combination of Concord Township and Chardon Township land. Really has nothing to do with us other than that we were to be notified, but did speak with that individual. So, we do like to see land conserved. So, that may be coming along the way. And I also want to go back to the comp plan and just commend Heather Freeman, our zoning inspector, for really doing a great job with these people and working hard. I know she's really excited as well, and doing a lot of the behind the scenes work from a standpoint of the trustees. Great job there. Very excited. Have had some dialogue about the request to adopt the noise resolution. I think we'll talk about that a little bit more. And I know we're going to hear from Mr. Supler, and we've got Community Day on Saturday. Yep. The concert's wrapped up for the season. We had a pretty good run. I think we had one rain out, but we've had great weather. A little hot at times. Enjoyed all of it, and really looking forward to Community Day, pancake breakfast, parade, fireworks on Saturday. So
great day.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. Mr. Gondorfer.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. Yes, I would like to thank Morgan and John for your comments on the proposed, property tax reform. I mean, it's important that I believe that our residents and people in the community understand the entire picture. And if there is some reform, there needs to be some type of other revenue stream for funding the township. I mean, we're invested with our safety services, fire, the sheriff's office for law enforcement, our roads. We would be impacted substantially if there wasn't any plan to fund additional revenue into the township if there was some type of reform. So your comments are appreciated, and you know, it's important for our residents to get the entire picture when you're trying to understand what initiatives are going to be moving forward if there is some reform. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I also had some calls on the noise resolution. I had some dialogue for and against the changes. I know we're going to talk about that a little further in the meeting. Great week, it looks like, for Community Day. So thanks to our rec department and service department for getting things set up for that. Looks like the weather's going to cooperate. It's a great day, so I urge everybody to come out. Start off with a pancake breakfast. We have the parade, a lot of different fun activities going all day long. It's a great time to get out and meet other people in the community and just be part of community. It's a great event, so please join us, and we are looking forward to that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So I do want to thank our rec department for a great summer concert, and you did great with the weather, as Mr. McIntosh said. So Concord said goodbye to a good friend. We said goodbye to Mr. Warner, who was our former fire chief this past month, and boy, what a life he led. He led such a, just quiet strength, lived a life of intention. It was a wonderful gift for the family, for our community, for us, and I think his life will continue to be a gift for others. So we wish his family well, and we know his memory will live on for a long time. So you both brought up the noise resolution. We talked about this 3 months ago. We had it sort of on the table, and since then there's been new interest, and I know we probably will talk about it, but people have come forward to give us their ideas of what they think is suitable, what is in line with the broader community in terms of timing of construction work. So happy to chat about that in a little bit. Property taxes, again, I am meeting this Friday at the Ohio Township Association for our directors meeting, and we hope to have a good dialogue on what other townships are finding out. OTA met with other state agencies to figure out, is there a plan, what's really going on? So I hope to have an update after that on Friday. So really excited for the comprehensive planning meetings. I know Mr. McIntosh, is right up your alley. Heather, thank you so much for all the work that you've done. I look forward to the community engagement, not only the steering committee, but the focus groups, and that I think will lead the project very well. I want to say good luck to everyone going back to school. It's hard to believe it's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. And also just wanted to say thank you again to Mr. Maxon. He always reminds us of all of the volunteer work he does a lot with the Old Stone School, and he wanted to remind us that the America 250 Bell will be at our Concord Community Days. So looking forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. And that ends my report. So we will move on to our department reports. We will start with our administrator, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci, members of the board, Mr. Patriarca, members of the audience, good evening. I'll start with items on the agenda. Item B is Resolution 2025 Tax 16 that Mr. Patriarca touched on. That establishes the street light assessments for next year. Item C is Resolution 2025 Tax 17, which will announce our Citizen of the Year. Items D through G are votes related to firefighter personnel, and I always look forward to seeing those. Item H is we voted on and entered into the contract with MS Consultants, but we need an actual PO. So this is the second part of that, which is establishes the PO in the amount of $106,835. Item I is a vote to approve the RC3 records disposal list. This is an annual event prior to our shred day where we collect all of our old documents that are eligible for shredding, and they're all cataloged and listed and for your consideration. Item J is a series of votes to amend the zoning resolution that was covered in the earlier public hearing. Item K is a vote that authorizes the law director to approve the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan and then advise the trustees. And then item M is a vote that'll be at the very end of the meeting. Item M is a vote to enter into executive session. That'll be for the purposes of discussing pending litigation, which is pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G3. Moving on to other items, we're just finishing up the testing on our redesigned township website. We hope to get that launched by the end of the month. We're very close, and it looks really good. The annual Shred Day will be on Saturday, September 13th. Residents can come from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon. So now is the time to clean out the filing cabinets, the drawers, the closets of all the old paperwork. Residents are capped at 3 copy paper boxes, and when you drop them off, the boxes will not be returned. But that's always a very crowded, popular event when we do Shred Day. A reminder to everyone that there's no second meeting in August, so our next trustees meeting will be on September 3rd. It's been touched on. I continue to receive inquiries as well regarding the petition going around to abolish property taxes. I will be giving a detailed presentation. It's called Understanding the Implications of Eliminating Property Tax. I will be giving this presentation at our community center. The first set will be on Thursday, August 28th. There will be a session at 1:30 in the afternoon and then again at 6 o'clock in the evening. And then we will also do it on Tuesday, September 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the evening. And that is open to the entire community. And we selected 2 different days, and we have an afternoon session and an evening session to try to accommodate work schedules and other things like that. So you've got 4 opportunities, and I'm sure we'll film it as well, and it'll be there for folks to watch at a later date. I look forward to seeing everyone at the various events tied to Community Day on Saturday, starting with the pancake breakfast, one of my favorite events. And then just please be mindful, most of the school systems are starting the week of the 18th, some on the 19th, some on the 20th, but school's starting back up the week of August 18th, so please be mindful of the school buses, please be mindful of all the little kids at the bus stops. And noise resolution. I've fielded calls mostly against making changes to the noise resolution, and I know we wanted to talk about this. I don't know where you want to work that in, but I am not in favor of changing the weekday start time to 8 o'clock has been proposed. I am a proponent of 7 o'clock. That seems to be an industry standard. In talking with some of my counterparts in the mayors and managers world across the county, have been contacted by construction companies, builders. I've spoken with ODOT, the county. I've had conversations with our own service department because our road crews go out, and 7 o'clock seems to be, again, an industry standard that works well for everybody. And I personally, I know everybody's got different situations, but personally, I don't think 7 o'clock is unreasonable. So that's where I'll leave it to start the conversation.
I would like to discuss, is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
So do you want to go first, Mr. Gondorfer?
Sure. I have a lot of history with this noise resolution during my time at the Sheriff's Department. That's when the previous board had made a proposal for a noise resolution, and we were involved in researching that. And it seemed like the community standard was, for the times that we have adopted, which was 7 a.m. or 11 p. to 7 a, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And the reason for that was because there's a lot of other entities within Lake County that operate during those periods of time. The engineer's office that work on our roads, ODOT who works on the roads, other entities. And there was special provisions for some other things, you know, music and loud exhaust and other things. But as far as normal day-to-day noise, it seemed like this, like Mr. Rose said, the industry standard was from about 11 p to 7 a. There wouldn't be noise, and then after 7 a.m., that's when people are up, starting to get things going, especially on the weekend when before the weather gets hot, if they're out working the yard or doing something, or during the week when, you know, like I said, the engineer's office might be resurfacing a road, or ODOT might be out on, you know, 44. You know, working in Concord Township with a road crew. So I believe there needs to be some harmony and concert with those times so that we're not impeding work and making it less efficient and helping to get, you know, stuff done within our township. So I think the times are appropriate. I do understand that there are situations like that we've heard of in the past and then recently, you know, with noise, and this noise recently seems to be temporary. You're talking about new construction, new development. You know, we have to, you know, if there's new development in the township and the property zoned appropriately, you know, the owner's okay to develop that. As far as the noise control, again, it's not permanent. It's temporary. You know, we all have those inconveniences that we deal with. You know, I did shift work. You know, we talked about, there was some dialogue about first responders being out and coming home from midnight shift at 7 o'clock, and you know, I did that coming off a shift at 7 a.m. just like fire when they come off at 7 a.m. and you get home by 7:30, have something to eat, you're in bed by 8 o'clock. I don't know how much that hour difference of 8 a.m. changing it to would make a difference. I think it would be more detrimental to a lot of the other businesses that operate within the township, i.e. private industry, as well as, you know, governmental agencies and road departments. So I sympathize with those situations that are temporary when there might be noise infringement. Some of those noise complaints that I fielded from residents were prior to 7 a.m. And if that's the case, you know, all you have to do is call the sheriff's department and they'll come out. It doesn't matter if they come out after 7, they could verify that, you know, the noise was going on prior to, you know, 7 a.m. They'll give a warning, and if it persists, then they'll cite the individual. So I'm not in support of changing it. I think there was a lot of work that went into this, a lot of thought with not only law enforcement, safety services, other entities, when it was adopted by the prior board. So I'm in favor of leaving it where it's at.
Thank you. Mr. McIntosh.
You know, we made a run at this, as you said, Mrs. Lucci, a few months ago and talked about it, and that was in the wake of an experience and a couple complaints. And we got hit pretty hard with, you know, this is a township and we didn't move here for this kind of control and so forth. And we all unanimously decided that we didn't want to move forward with a lot of work that we did to put some kind of together. And now comes this. To speak to a couple of points specifically, the difference between 7 and 8, as Mr. Dondorfer said, I would agree. There's a lot of businesses, and I know I'm working closely with those. 7 a.m. is when, you know, there's a lot of manufacturing in Northeast Ohio, and 7 a.m. is a pretty common start time. And even if you're on the way to work at 8, you're awake by 7. So not all industries, not all places of work start that early, but an awful lot do. And I do have a lot of concern with us putting a further restriction on something that would impact ODOT, the county, and have a ripple effect into other areas. And you always have, as we sit here, we have to worry about that ripple effect. So I think that's an issue. We do live in a township, and we have been scolded many times for the things that we like to do but we've been scolded when we consider these things that are expansive in government. And I think summer of 2025 is a tough time. I mean, there's a big difference. You know, it's been a hot one, and so they'll heavy construction. I mean, they like to get started early, and they will like to get done heat of the day. You know, we've all been out there. We all have our stories about experiencing it, and starting later pushes you into that 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and that's the scorching time. That's the heat of the day, and so the earlier we can start, and I think it would be restrictive and be problematic. So I don't see taking up something that would prevent work at 7 a.m. because I think the world's moving pretty solidly by then.
Thank you. You know, it is our responsibility to hear out our residents' concerns, and we do understand that quieter mornings, especially for our children, is important. However, as we've all mentioned, the 7 a.m. start time is consistent with other municipalities, other agencies that are trying to do work. And, you know, construction is time sensitive. It's weather dependent. Delaying start times by even an hour could prolong the project, as Mr. Dondorfer said. And you have to consider work that other agencies need to do, like infrastructure work that would have to work around that different hour change. Also, I think, you know, changing the ordinance for one household would really create a ripple effect, like you said, and make it difficult to manage other projects and keep things on track in the future. We do respect this person's concerns. It is not something on the agenda today. It's just something that we've been talking to this resident with, have come up with different ideas of what we think makes sense, and it makes sense to me also not to change the 7 a.m. Okay. With that, we will move on to our department reports with our Fire Department Chief Zabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So for the month of July, we had a total of 288 events, including 186 EMS events with 144 transports and 102 non-EMS events, including 4 fires within Concord, 2 cooking fires, 1 trash fire, and 1 outside equipment fire. And we assisted with 4 building fires outside of Concord in the month of July. We gave mutual aid 22 times and received mutual aid 15 times, and we had 123 overlapping calls for about 43%. So pretty much leveling out. Our Fire Prevention Bureau was busy completing 118 inspections. School's coming back in, so the Fire Prevention Bureaus and all the schools making sure that everything's safe for them to come back in. That accounted for about 170 hours this month. They did 6 plan reviews for new projects or remodels or renovations, and participated in about 5 hours of continuing education. We also assisted with the fire investigation in Painesville City. On the public education side of things, we performed fire safety and fire extinguisher training for a skilled nursing facility for State of Ohio healthcare employees, 1 group home and 1 assisted living facility. We also trained hotel employees in CPR first aid and AED training, and installed, serviced, and or changed batteries in 10 residential smoke alarms, including 4 homes as part of our new American Red Cross smoke detector program. So we're blessed to have a good relationship with the Red Cross to make sure that every home has a working smoke alarm. We also had 1 residential Knox box returned. On August 17th, and thank you, Mrs. Lucci, for commenting on Chief Warner. That was a real hit for our department and Hamden Fire Department, and really so many firefighters from across the state he touched. He was an advocate, a friend, that really had a positive impact on the fire service across the state. And we are constantly reminded, just walking through the firehouse, even the new firehouse, of his presence and his impact in the fire service. But the fire service wasn't all Mike was, right? So he was also vitally important in one area was with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Club. And on August 17th, the Combat Vets Motorcycle Club is going to be hosting a run to raise money. They've decided to establish a scholarship in Mike's name for public safety. So on August 17th in the afternoon, you can expect about at least 200 motorcycles coming through town. And it's growing fast. So just be patient, and we'll get everyone through all the traffic. And but we appreciate the combat vets for their hard work in getting that done. Additionally, the agenda items for this evening are primarily focused on, for the fire department, for personnel changes. Requesting a promotion for a lieutenant and a promotion for a firefighter. Our firefighters and officers are top notch, and I have the utmost respect for all of them, and I get excited every time we get to do one of these, and it's the best part of my job, and it's reflective of the staff that we have working over there. So I appreciate their efforts, and I know they'll represent our department well in this township. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our service department, Mr. Brown.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Service Department of the month of July continued with our road maintenance projects throughout the township. Our concrete crew has completed several slab replacements. Currently, they are working in the Carriage Hill subdivision. Our asphalt crews are out crack sealing and durapatching our asphalt roadways. Ditch maintenance and cemetery operations are also some of the things performed by the Service Department. The 2025 joint road resurfacing projects are coming to a completion. All roads included in the project have been resurfaced and are awaiting some punch list items to be taken care of by the contractor. Little Mountain Road received its chip seal surface course and is awaiting the fog seal coat, which will be applied within the next week or so. The Service Department took delivery of a 2025 Ford F-350 pickup truck with plow package. This truck is replacing a 2002 Ford F-350 pickup with a plow package, and it was sold this week at auction. We thank the trustees for their continued support and the necessary equipment that we purchase, and to help us keep our constant level of service up to the residents. Working with the Lake County Stormwater Department, we have 3 upcoming projects. The biannual easement maintenance and dredging of the Eagle Ridge Retention Pond forebay will be performed by the Service Department. The Sarah Lee Storm Sewer Improvement Project is scheduled to go out for bids in the coming weeks. And in Quail Hollow at 7276 Waterfall Way, the retention pond behind this property, the forebay dredging maintenance to remove sediment is also going out to bid. These projects are funded by using stormwater dollars collected through our property taxes. Residents are reminded that the yard waste drop-off will reopen on September 2nd from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. The yard waste drop-off will run through the end of November. The annual Fall Brush Days is scheduled for Saturdays, October 4th and 18th from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and yard waste will also be accepted on those dates. The Service Department encourages residents with questions or concerns to contact us at 440-350-3225 or email at concordtwp.com/service. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Moving on to zoning, Mrs. Freeman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So for the month of July, zoning department staff processed 45 zoning permit applications and collected $5,400 in fees. The vast majority of the permits were for residential projects and included 11 accessory buildings, 10 fences, 6 new swimming pools, 5 decks, 4 residential additions, 4 dwellings, and 1 alteration. Commercial permits included 2 new sign permits and 2 new business permits. The new businesses that were approved include Birdie King's Bar and Grill and the 617 Media Company. Additionally, staff completed 66 zoning permit inspections and issued 22 certificate of compliances for projects that were completed. As Mr. McIntosh mentioned, staff had the comprehensive plan kickoff meeting. We're working on planning a date for a community open house where we're going to invite the community to learn and participate in the process. So stay tuned for information to come about that. Thank you. That
Great,
concludes my
thank you.
report.
Heather, before you conclude, I wanted to follow up on a couple things with respect to the zoning amendments that we had the public hearing about.
Sure.
So, zoning amendment, text amendment for revising the table of uses, was there a basis for taking a look at the things that were, I appreciate that. I know we've talked a bit before about districts and whatnot. Could you just provide a little background on the basis of moving that, or what was motivated for them to look at that?
Yes, sure. So the zoning commission decided that they wanted to kind of take a look at, with staff's recommendation, some of the conditional uses that were permitted under the R1 and R4 districts specifically. So some of these uses, and actually let me pull, sorry, just dropped the pen there. But some of the uses that were specifically listed, such as library, arboretum, those type of uses would fall under most likely the government public use, which is already a permitted use under those districts. So we felt that that was redundant. And then they kind of were looking at the compatibility of allowing more nursing homes, more residential care facilities within the R1, R4 districts, and made a decision that those were uses that we did not necessarily want to promote more of within the township.
Okay. And then with respect to the solar energy thing that we did there, I know often when I was in the commission, we compared to other communities, and so I assume that most of the regulations, is there anything particular that they recommended that was maybe unique to Concord, or are we sort of following what most people are doing regulation-wise?
So townships just recently got the ability to regulate small solar facilities, and we did look at some of the other townships in Lake County and looked at other cities' ordinances to see what they were proposing. Some are allowing like the small solar fields as the primary use of the property for like a commercial operation, which our zoning commission did not find would be appropriate here in Concord based on our land uses and our development patterns already. I would say that we're pretty similar in what we're proposing. Most cities are allowing or regulating rooftop mounted. A lot of what we saw with some of the townships were more allowing the small solar facilities as ground-based. We did ask for the ground-based, if you're on a lot 2 acres or larger, to locate those within side or rear yards on the property. We didn't find it to be appropriate in front yards, and to provide some kind of screening. So I think that's a little, we found that in other communities' regulations, we thought that would protect residential properties by only allowing those on larger lots, which we feel like would be more open spaces and not necessarily in smaller developments.
Okay. That answers my questions, and I think just a closing thought would be, whenever we talk about these text amendments, is to sort of remind the community that whenever we adopt these regulations, it's not necessarily the end stop of anything, because there's always the BZA. So if somebody came in and said, hey, I wanted to do something different here, this isn't a black and white thing, it's a hard no, there's that process of appeal where you can seek a variance for reasons that are justified, and
Yeah, and that was discussed by the zoning commission too, about some of the standards in there, that what if there's a unique situation, and they did recognize that is an option.
Thank you for providing that extra background.
Sure, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our rec department, Mr. Sean Supler.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Obviously, we're very busy in the rec department right now.
Wonder why.
Just want to start off by saying the concert series ended this past Thursday with Liverpool Lads. It was an amazing concert series. We were very crowded here, I think, for pretty much all of our concerts. A lot of great music. So just want to thank everyone for coming out and support us over those 8 weeks. We look forward already to next summer, and we're already starting to plan and book some bands for next year. So, and especially thanks to our sponsors who helped make that concert series possible. Some of our upcoming events here for our seniors 55 plus on August 27th is our senior appreciation event at the community center. We have tons of different vendors with giveaways, handouts, and all that kind of stuff by a lot of local businesses. So obviously the big event coming up is this Saturday, which is our community day. Just our quick schedule of events for that. The free pancake breakfast at the fire department. That is from 8 to 10:30. So please come out and support the fire department at that. We have a free yoga class by Lake Yoga at 8:30 here at the gazebo. The Concord Parade will kick off at 11:15. Directly following that, here at the Town Hall campus is our trustee event, and we have free popsicles for everyone who attends that. So come in by and meet with the trustees. And the food trucks will also be open during that time from 11 to 1:30 for our lunch crowd. From 4 to 6 at the Old Stone School with Dan Maxon is an open house and storybook walk. Then our main event runs from 4 to 10. From 4 to 8 is the Kids World, including Jungle Terry performance, Concord Alliance Carnival games, face painters and balloon twisters, inflatables, and the famous frog jump and DJ will be during that time. We have beer and wine sales throughout the entire event. Plenty of food trucks available. From 4 to 7 is Nick Costa doing the opening act, and then Follow the Sun would be closing down from 7 to 10, and all of that would be capped off by our fireworks show. A more detailed schedule of events and map of the layout of the community day is available at concordtwp.com. If you have any questions or need further information about that or any of our events, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Our next printed grapevine will be coming out end of this month or early September, and that will include all of our events for September through March. If you need anything else, call us at 440-639-4650. And just as a side note, I'm having a little back and nerve issue right now, and I don't think I can sit on that bench anymore. So if you guys are good, I'm going to go that way. Okay. And hope that I'm feeling better by Saturday. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
Sean.
thanks, Sean. Thanks for all your work and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our Lake County Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Suschek.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We had a total of 17 traffic stops, which resulted in 9 citations. We had 6 accidents, 2 of them being injury. We had 5 natural death investigations. We had 5 fresh arrests, and we had sent an additional 2 for charges at a later time and date. One of them was a pursuit where the guy barricaded himself in the house later, and then we got him the next morning, resulted in a use of force of a tasing. We had a TPO violation, an aggravated menacing with a disorderly. We had a felony domestic violence, and then we had a drug arrest. We also had a firearm stolen out of a glove box in a neighborhood, and then a separate neighborhood. We had 2 ATVs and a dirt bike stolen from a residence. We located a missing juvenile out of California, went to St. Gabe's. They thought she was being human trafficking, but it turns out she was just a runaway from California after a lengthy night of investigation. And then on July 4th, someone's celebration gunfire resulted in a round falling from the sky and piercing a hood of a car. No evidence or witnesses for that one. So, other than that, it was a fairly quiet July.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Take care.
All right, moving on to the audience portion. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? Hey, sir, please come up to the lectern and just state your name and your address, please.
Okay. My name is Ron Call. I live in 12355 Brutal Road in Concord Township. I had 2 questions I had. One is, I live near an intersection of Concord Hamden and Brutal Road, which is up here. Mm-hmm. And there's no stop signs on 608. And that school that's out. And you can't get across that intersection for probably 5 to 6 minutes because there's people constantly going through there around 4 to 5 o'clock. I thought maybe they should be looking into, I don't know if the trustees have any bearing on this or not, but shouldn't there be a four-way stop? You know, possibly a four-way stop there? Because there have been 2 people killed there since I've lived there. The other thing is the school buses coming from that new school down the street on Concord Hamden Road, when they want to go east on Girdle Road, if there's cars going west on Girdle Road, the school bus can't make the turn because they're too long. And there's a stop sign on both sides of Girdle Road for people to stop, which a lot of them don't. But the buses can't make that turn. So people are trying to get off of Girdle Road to go across the street. They have to let the bus stop so they can get across the intersection. Then the buses can go around the turn. I think either the stop sign should be moved or those tank trap ditches should be made smaller so that the buses can make the turn without having to interfere with everybody else trying to go down through there. So maybe you could look into a four-way stop.
Yeah, we could look into a traffic study, and so that would be a county road, state road.
ODOT.
Yeah, that would be ODOT, and we can certainly ask and look into history and a study and see what's feasible there, for
Girdle
sure.
Road is a county road.
Right,
Yeah.
like that's what I said, Girdle's the county, but then 608 is the state. So it depends on what jurisdiction.
Mr. Rose will be your best friend on
Yes,
that
he
one.
will.
I don't think so.
Because we'll have to, we wouldn't be able to do that ourselves. We would have to go to
Yeah.
these agencies and talk to them.
Okay, well, you got more power than I do.
Well, we already see his wheels
Here's the
turning,
man.
and
Yeah.
he's already on it, so,
I'll give you this, you can give me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
yes.
I had another question. I'm retired. I've been retired like 20 years. And the highest expense I have is my real estate taxes. They are really high. And I looked at my bill this last time, and 49% of it goes to schools. 49% of it. So rather than having no real estate taxes or having this high tax that we have presently, can't they give, of course I'm old, so I'm prejudiced here. Can't they give a break to people who are retired rather than doing away with the real estate tax? Why don't they look into giving breaks to people? And I think Virginia, I don't know which one, Virginia or West Virginia, people who are over 65, they don't have to pay real estate taxes until they die. And then the state has to go back 3 years and pay the taxes that they didn't pay. Can't they look into something like that rather than just either or?
Well, this property tax reform is everyone's talking about what makes sense, how can we take care of our seniors. There's a lot of talk on all of this, and those questions are our questions, and it's the questions we want answered to from the state.
I think just to put a little, there was a great, I think an op-ed, Mr. Rose, it was on the Cleveland.com Plain Dealer Sunday that did a good job explaining some of the history behind why we are where we are today. And as I spoke with one of our state legislatures, I reminded them, his comment was, the state doesn't collect property taxes. But the architecture of how government's funded is a state issue. So the ideas you suggest are certainly palatable ones. They are things that state legislatures, the governor's offices, various have chosen to not really take a look at. I know, just looking at the last 20 years as a manufacturing owner, I owned a manufacturing business some time ago. Over the last 20 years, the state has done things to make taxing in Ohio more attractive to business, but it's shifted the burden, and that has cost Concord Township a lot of money. We don't get money from the state anymore, which increases the pressure to put a levy on to pay for the things that we have to pay for. So a lot of what you suggest is going on. The state, the governor's office has the working committee, the legislatures, Senate and House are running around trying to figure some of these things out. So that's the forum more so than here, because we're so far down the food chain. Kind of like you asking about how we put a stop sign in and say we have more clout. They have more clout than we do on this. We talk to them, but we're so far removed from it. We're users of the system. They're the architects of it. Realistically, is that. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more of it going on. Some of the things you're talking about, freezing seniors, they're all talking about those different ideas.
Do they even bring that up? I mean, it's not like.
Oh, yeah.
That's been brought up already.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than just doing away with real
Yep.
estate taxes, I mean, let's,
They've all now got ideas about it, so now it becomes that process political, unfortunately, of everybody
Well,
trying to get their ideas on the table as opposed to somebody else's. So it's one of the things where I've said I have chosen really not to communicate or advocate for certain things because there are so many ideas out there. It's just the list is.
well, one thing that they keep forgetting all the time is the fact that I don't believe real estate taxes are legal in Ohio. For the schools. They're not supposed to be, the schools are not supposed to be funded by the real estate taxes. That's the way I understand. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on that too.
There was
Yeah,
a
she's
There
right.
are,
Yeah, the Ohio Constitution, I believe.
there was a Supreme Court case, the DeRolf case, I think it was in 97 or 98, ruled that the way Ohio funds schools is unconstitutional. However, no formal resolution has been
It hasn't been
enacted.
fixed. Yeah, it hasn't been fixed.
It hasn't been fixed. Property taxes themselves to support local government and other entities is certainly legal and constitutional, but the school funding formula is what the DeRolf case specifically addresses.
Right.
But I think townships of the $22 billion only account for, I think, 6%.
1.8 billion.
Yeah, it's very small for what 1,308 townships across the state of Ohio collect in property taxes. The other thing too, and to your point, if you took care of the school funding piece, if you took the schools out of it, the property tax bill, I feel like if you ran around to most of the residents of Concord Township and said, here's your new bill that included Auburn Career Center, Lakeland Community College, the Metro Parks, Concord, whatever your local entities are, if your bill was reduced by 60%,
There you go.
people would say, oh, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't mean to throw schools under the bus
No.
from a standpoint of, we have two districts in Concord that we want to have a good relationship with here, Mentor and Riverside. I make the point by saying it is the biggest part of it, and if you took the schools out, if that funding piece was somehow solved, and people looked at their property tax bill, they'd probably feel it wouldn't be out of line. They would consider it reasonable to pay for roads and fire and so forth. So I think you make a good point on the school and a good point on the seniors. Those are both things that are being talked about in the state legislature, but those are the people who are going to make it happen, unfortunately, not us.
Well, I watch the news and it's either or, like what you're talking about, doing away with real estate tax, which is not right. I agree on that. But they ought to be funding the schools differently than the way they are. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They talked about,
Thank you.
talked about the number of school
Yeah.
districts in Ohio, which is pretty high compared to other states. And they've talked about some of the administrative costs, maybe that goes with that. So, but, everything you mentioned this is
Well,
what
it's-
we're all doing now, right now,
They
talking
just
about.
built that school down here. How long ago was that? 5 or 6 years ago?
It opened in 2019. I got here in 18, it opened the year after 2019.
They already want to put 5 more school rooms on that building.
Poor planning.
What kind of deal is that?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
Mr.
for your
Call, thank you
comment.
very much.
I think it's interesting,
Yeah.
and I know we've talked about this before here,
Right.
and we did it with the fire station project. It's not about kicking the can down the road, but I think you look at the circumstance here, and in this dialogue reminds me very much of deal with that later, and then you get this is what dealing with something later gets you. You get this huge mess.
Well, it's not over yet. Anyone else in the audience?
Sure.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jim Carney. I live on 11699 Colburn Road. I've been there since '78, and the road was dirt, then it was oiled, then it was chipped, then it was dirt again, and then it was asphalt in 2014. And you guys did a nice job on that chip repair. Just want to mention that on Colburn. Nice job. I noticed last week that the Lake County engineers were surveying that road. Anybody know why they're surveying it?
Any idea, Tim?
I have a guess. I don't have my guess is because starting at the end of this year, they're going to be resurfacing State Route 44 from basically Capitol Parkway all the way down to Mentor Road in Geauga County. and they're going to also be looking at the various intersections. I know they're gonna put a traffic light at Hosford.
Yeah.
They're going to be making some changes at the girdled, cryo, 44, Auburn, where it's real tight in those areas. They might be looking at the intersection where Colburn comes up onto 44. Maybe they're gonna flare that out and clean that up a little bit.
Yeah, that would make
But-
sense, because there's a
but
lot of
that's
accidents
why-
there.
That's why you're gonna see a lot of survey.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I don't know
Yeah,
if
well-
there's something else going on. We can certainly
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah, but what I heard
That's
was.
my guess.
I talked to one of the engineers, and, because he was spotting right in front of my house, you know, with the arrow shooting all the way down past 44 to Auburn. That's where the other pin is. You got a pin
Right.
Ravenna, and you got a pin way down by where Auburn or Colburn ends at Auburn. And if you look at the pin on Ravenna, it's like 3 or 4 feet off center. I think the pin's supposed to be in the center, right? Lake and Jaga. Just split the road.
Right,
Does that make sense?
in the middle, I believe, isn't it, Tim?
It's hard to say how they had that road.
Yeah, because, well, that's what the engineer told me, and if you look at it, because when they did the road in 2014, they took like an extra 3 or 4 feet off on the north side, Lake County side, because the ditch, because as they were grading the road for the last 50 plus years, they kept somehow getting off center. So they had to try to bring it back by taking more frontage off of the people on the Lake County side, which shortened our frontage up like about 15, 20 feet. And because they had to take a bunch of trees out on that side of the road.
Okay.
So he told me that was part of it, because they were supposed to come back and do another survey after they fixed the road in 2014, the excavating people. And they never did, because they pulled all the pins out that located like the 120-foot frontage we have on our property.
Yes, sir.
The one pin I still have on the west side, but the east pin was taken out because that's how far they had to come back in our property, and they never pegged it again. So all that was going on, and of course when they did that, you know, I think I told this story back then when I was here. They had to pull the culvert pipes out like 3 times because they had the wrong depth of the ditch as they were digging to go west because of the drop on the road. You know, it drops quite a bit. So, but anyways, my point is, you know, I just want to make sure that they weren't going to run something else down through there, like, you know, like water or something like that.
We're not aware of any utility expansion plans at all down there. My guess is, based on what you said, they're probably just cleaning up the old surveys from when they
Yep.
realigned the road in 14, and then they might be tying in the work that ODOT's doing at 44 in Colburn.
Yep.
That may be part of it as well.
That would make sense, because
That's my
the aprons, like I said, there's probably an accident, at least 2 accidents a week on one of the intersections, you know, where people are turning. You know,
Yep.
And you know what they did? They put them lines in on the shoulders where people weren't supposed to pass around on the right side. Well, they're still passing around the right side, and what happens is you got somebody turning left, and somebody's turning left, and then they, you know, there's a head-on. What they should have done was they should have painted them lines yellow instead of white, making like a caution, you know, like a center line on a road where that might, and, you know, even though they have big signages up, you know, don't pass on shoulder. I bet if you sat down there, one of them intersections, you probably get at least 10 an hour, like, you know, Hosler Road especially. But, and that's where all the accidents are, because people just aren't paying attention, you know, when they're, you know, like I said, they should have painted them lines yellow instead of
Yes,
white.
sir.
That's my, but, sir, I agree with you. All of us retired people shouldn't pay property tax at all. We paid for over 50 plus years already. You know, I support tax. I agree. You got to have tax, you know, property tax. There's no way, like, where's the money going to come from? You know, so, that's all I really got to say.
Thank you for your
Thank
Okay.
you. And if we
Thank you.
find
Mr.
anything
Carney.
out, we'll let him know, correct, Andy? If you hear anything from the engineer about why they.
Yeah, I'll give him my card when
Great.
we're done and
Okay.
exchange numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Lucci, I have
Yes.
I have an item for the audience portion. There's Mr. Milletti who wanted to be here, but due to a family conflict with some other events, he provided a letter that he would like read and entered into the record. I put a copy of this letter in your inboxes. It's dated today. It's from Mr. Chris Milletti, who's a resident. He says, Concord Township Board of Trustees, on Monday, August 4th, my wife was cleaning the floors of our home and removed the cover for one of the cold air return ducts. Unbeknownst to her, our cat climbed into the opening and made his way into the ductwork under the floor. He would not respond to our calls, and we didn't know where he went. I started removing duct covers but could not find him and became very worried he would fall into the furnace. I had my wife call the Concord Fire Department so that we could use their FLIR camera to locate him. Firefighters Joe Gigliotti and Sean Rodenheaver, along with Lake County Deputy Stuart Edmonds from the Sheriff's Department, responded. Unfortunately, the camera didn't work because the ductwork is too reflective. But to my surprise, all 3 first responders stayed at our house to help in the search and keep my wife and daughter calm. They also took great care to limit the damage to my home as they disassembled the ducts and pipes. After almost 2 hours, they finally located our cat, who was unharmed. These 3 first responders exemplify community service. This situation was a crisis for my family, but it was not a crisis for the township. They didn't have to stay as long as they did, and there were undoubtedly other matters they could have attended to, but they did stay. And they also maintained the highest level of professionalism while they were in my home. My family and our cat, Happy, are forever grateful for their assistance. Concord Township and Lake County are lucky to have them protecting residents. Sincerely, Mr. Chris Millet. That concludes the letter. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Chief,
That's
thank
good
your,
stuff.
thank your team for us. I mean, we love those stories,
Your
so,
deputy too.
Yeah.
yes, and yours
Deputy
too.
Edmonds,
Thank
yeah.
you. Okay. Moving on to
Okay.
old business. We have none, so we will move on to new business.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion to approve the July financial report.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to approve resolution 2025-16 street lighting assessment.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-17, Citizen of the Year.
And I'll second that.
Mr. Rose?
And I will read the resolution. This will be presented at Community Day on Saturday. 2025 Citizen of the Year, John Paganini. This is Resolution 2025 Tax 17. Whereas John Paganini, friend, neighbor, and good citizen of Concord Township for over 26 years, has been an integral part of our community as a resident through his dedication to home, family, community, and profession, and consistently set the finest example for the values of good citizenship. And whereas John has held and currently holds many positions with charitable organizations and civic groups, including Lake Erie College Board of Directors, AI Center for Excellence, and the Classic Thunderbird Club of Northeast Ohio. He's a graduate of Lakeland Community College, Lake Erie College, and the University of Phoenix, and is currently the CEO of Crew Tracker Software Company, which is a digital service platform for snow and ice management. John is also the founder of IoT Directions, a company focused on the Internet of Things, blockchain, and emerging technology consulting services. And whereas John spent many hours conducting additional research as a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee for Safety Services in Concord Township. His detailed analysis and report writing proved invaluable to the township. He is a valued and active contributor to the betterment of Concord Township. And now therefore be it resolved that we, the Concord Township Board of Trustees, Lake County, State of Ohio, on behalf of the residents of Concord Township, do hereby with great privilege recognize and pay honor and tribute to John Paganini as the Concord Township Citizen of the Year for 2025.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
discussion?
Thank you.
Worked with John a bit on the Citizen Advisory Committee. We've seen him around at a number of community events. Solid gentleman, and we did receive a proactive nomination too. So speaks very highly of.
Yeah, he's been a great township resident, very involved, great advocate. And it's great to honor him.
Yeah, can't wait to honor him on Saturday. So all in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, move to approve the promotion of full-time firefighter paramedic Robert Avancic to the position of full-time lieutenant effective August 24th, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
We did these promotional interviews a little bit ago, and as we say every single time, and right after we heard a wonderful story, the interview process is always just a trail of that. And Bob and all of these gentlemen are consummate professionals, and it's an honor to promote them.
Yep.
Grateful to have them with our team.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the promotion of part-time firefighter paramedic Ryan Nappy to the position of full-time firefighter effective August 24th, 2025.
Second.
Any words?
Just, another great promotion to full-time firefighter status. He was part-time, full-time, I believe, out in Solon. But he's going to be a great addition. And we're just grateful to have such great candidates coming through Concord for our safety services.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, move to approve Fire Department reassignment of firefighter 1 Kyle Langer to part-time regular firefighter paramedic effective 8/24/2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the PO in the amount of $106,835,000 to MS Consultants Incorporated for a comprehensive plan.
Well, you want to just, I'll second that.
Oh, well,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Good, I skipped
I'll
that
second
one.
that.
Okay. Any discussion on H?
Just a reminder that Heather approved and we did that grant.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Right,
75,000.
75.
75K.
So we got a big portion of that in grant
yeah.
savings. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Kudos to Mrs. Freeman all around.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Madam Chair, move to approve appointment of Robert Lewis to the position of firefighter 1 effective August 3rd, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 Records Disposal RC-3 per our records retention policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So these are vote for each one individually.
Each one in their roll call votes.
Okay.
Okay.
And I would recommend that you move to adopt the recommendations of the zoning commission. That's how I would,
Okay, so
For
the
each
motion
one.
is to adopt, so
the recommendation,
these-
each one.
read
Yep.
it, but then
So you would say, right,
adopt and then vote, okay.
you would say move to adopt the recommendations of the zoning commission for zoning text amendment 1. That's what I would
All
recommend.
right,
Thanks.
I move to approve the zoning commission recommendation for zoning text amendment number 1 to revise section 6 general requirements as follows. Revise section 6.01B agricultural uses, add new section 6.02K prohibited uses.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Mr. Dondorfer,
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes,
Mrs. Lucci,
Yes.
I move to approve adopt the recommendation of the zoning commission for zoning text amendment number 2, revised section 1101 zoning permit required.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please?
Mr. Dondorfer.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes,
Mrs. Lucci.
Yes.
move to approve the move to accept the recommendation of the zone, adopt
That's okay.
the recommendation of the zoning commission text amendment number 3, revised section 8 conditional use permit.
I'll second.
Roll call, please?
Mr. Dondorfer.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci.
Yes.
Move to adopt zoning commission recommendation for text amendment number 4, revised section 15.02, table 15.02-1, table of uses.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dondorfer.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci.
Yes.
I move to adopt the recommendation of the zoning commission for text amendment number 5, add section 18 small, or, yeah, that's 18, right?
Yep.
Solar energy systems.
I'll second.
Roll call, please?
Mr. Dondorfer.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci.
Yes.
I move to adopt the recommendation of the zoning commission for text amendment number 6, add new section for 19 electrical vehicle charging stations.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci?
Yes.
Move to adopt the recommendation of the zoning commission text amendment number 7, revise section 22.03 table of uses for commercial and industrial districts and revise 22.10A capital district standards.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci?
Yes.
Move to adopt the recommendation of the zoning commission text amendment number 8, delete section 32 gas and oil regulations.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci?
Yes.
And move to adopt the recommendation of zoning commission text amendment number 9, delete section 33 satellite receiving antenna dish type.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci?
Yes.
I will make a motion to authorize vote for Law Director Bridie Matheny to approve the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan settlement and to authorize her to report such vote as required.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to future meetings and announcements. Mr. Patriarca, will you help us, please?
August 13th at 7 p.m., BZA meeting here at Town Hall. August 18th at 3 p.m., staff meeting at Town Hall. September 1st, Town Hall will be closed to observe Labor Day. September 2nd, 7 p.m., Zoning Commission meeting here at Town Hall. And on September 3rd, trustee office hours will be canceled, but we will have our trustee meeting at 6 p.m. at Town Hall.
Madam Chair, move to enter executive session, discuss pending litigation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G3, and to invite Mr. Patriarca, Mr. Rose, and Ms. Matheny to join the executive session.
I will second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci?
Yes. So we will enter into exec session. The regular trustees meeting is complete.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.